That's such a crazy job. The
window washer?
Yeah, they're like fucking, they could just fall to their deaths, and they're like fucking playing with babies and dogs and shit on TikTok through the window and shit while they're just like like cleaning it up, just hanging on a little, looking like they're just sitting on a swing at a playground. They're like fucking mile in the sky.
Yeah, and like the little like I don't know what you call it, like the cage or whatever that's around that's like surrounds the little thing that they're standing in. Like it doesn't look too like solid. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like they can just fall right over that thing.
Yeah, that shit looks like the fucking pirate ship thing at the carnival that goes upside down. Shit, that shit's just like swinging left and right. I will say though, this might not be a window washing podcast, but it is about cleaning the glass in some respect.
You ever put them on the glass, man?
Yeah. Fucking Boardman gets paid.
Boardman does get paid. What it do, baby?
Yeah. Hey. Are like the fucking boardmen of the working world. They're getting so many rebounds.
Right now, our audience is filled with boardmen.
Hey, that's our target demographic.
That is our target demographic.
We fucking reach you. This was all a ploy.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So, oh man. Welcome to the Free Ballers podcast with Alexis Cordova and myself, Jonathan Leary.
That's John.
What up, window washers and the like?
Boardmen and
board window washers for that matter.
Oh yeah, which by the way, we have surpassed 100 followers on Twitter. The lowest milestone, but the first of many.
I'll take it. That's a nice even number right there. Matter of fact, I don't even want to go past 100.
It's true. I like more intimate settings to begin with. Really.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? So all 102 of y'all.
I just hope 95 of them are window washers.
Yeah, I hope there's a few window washers in there.
The other 7 are boardmen.
First of all, R.I.P. Tommy Heinsohn.
Ooh, that's a rough one. Yeah.
Straight up off top, Tommy Gunn.
Yeah.
Like
he I didn't realize how influential his career was. I mean, he has been a Celtics homer for the longest time. He's been one of the most influential people in the Celtics organization for, you could make the case, 60 years. I didn't realize that before we had a players association, he was leading a lot of like strikes and stuff. Just to go into how old he is, he and Bill Russell were drafted in the same draft.
Wow.
So yeah. So he's he was 86, I believe, was the age that he died. Extremely influential figure in the entire Celtics organization. Not only as a player, I mean, he figures to be a Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame coach, and also a Hall of Fame announcer, basically, or announcer. That's that the wrong or color man?
Yeah, commentator.
Commentator, yeah.
When I think about him as a commentator, I think about like the ultimate homer.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I would watch Celtics games with the Celtics broadcasts, he would just be, he's the ultimate Celtics fan. He like embodies the Celtics. He's a fucking Celtic.
He's got the Boston accent. He basically just hates on the refs the whole time. He said some things about LeBron before that are just nasty, just filthy. He definitely made watching the games fun because he was a homer for the team. And that's a rare thing, I would say, as a commentator. Most guys, even the local ones, tend to at least, give credit where credit's due to the other team. He'll straight up, he would straight up call it out. He's like, that's not a foul. And the refs are he would say stuff like he'd be like that ref needs to go home to his wife because nobody loves him here and stuff like that. So like, damn, man. And of course he said it with an accent and stuff. So yeah, he was great. And yeah, sad day for his partner Mike Gorman, who is the straight guy of the team, I guess, so to speak. And who's been also been calling the Celtics for a long time. 86, very, very influential career. Apparently was a really good painter. I don't know if you've seen his collection of paintings.
Really?
Yeah, he has a lot of like still lifes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, of he painted he had like a house near it's a place where it was a place where he used to go fishing, I guess. And he just painted like this whole like scene by like a river or a marsh or something. It was like a house there, an old dilapidated house, and it was pretty awesome. Matter of fact, Photoshop Weird Celtics has had a lot of fun with Photoshop, saying the Celtics new city jersey should just be like, it should just say for Tommy on the front, and then just the whole design on the jersey is just one of his paintings or something like that. So,
oh hell yeah, that's fucking awesome.
No, he's cool. Very influential figure in the whole Celtics organization and in the NBA for that matter. So I'd be honest, I admit I didn't realize how much he really dedicated to did things off the court for players as well. So
he was a 6-time All-Star and he won 8 championships as a Celtic player. He led the team in scoring during 4 title runs.
Mm-hmm.
He was rookie of the year on a team that went to the finals. And in game 7 of the finals, he had 37 points and 23 rebounds. And it was the first Celtic championship.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And then whether it's as a player or a coach or a color commentator, he's been there for all 17 Boston Celtic championships.
You got to give this guy credit.
Yeah. You got to give him credit, man. That's a huge loss. And he fucking really did his thing.
But yeah, RIP. Yeah, he's complaining about calls somewhere else now. So
as far as free agents go, we might as well all go home. The big news is off the table. Udonis Haslem is returning for his 18th NBA season with the Miami Heat. Kuzma's better than he gets credit for because he plays with LeBron and Anthony Davis,
Yes. Let's pause on Kuzma because we need to talk about his Twitter rants, his recent Twitter rants.
Oh,
have you seen these?
No, I have not.
Oh, he is going off, and I think he's an anti-masker, perhaps.
No,
I believe so. Yeah. Now you could correct me on this.
To quote Kyrie, I'm about to do my own research.
He is going off on Twitter and just saying stuff. He's very critical of like lockdowns and he's asking all these like dumb questions that like Republican voters ask. And I don't want to. I mean, look, Republicans listen to our podcast too, I'm sure. But like, there's that's a Michael Jordan quote. If I could just quote, one of the GOATs. So yeah, he's going up on Twitter about and just saying like dumb shit regarding the pandemic. Basically, I think he might be getting close to being like an anti-mask type person.
Damn.
If we're foreshadowing, I don't know how this NBA season is going to go, bubble or no bubble or what's going to happen. But
yeah, I want to get into that. We're gonna.
It's important.
We're going to get into that in the future of this episode.
But I could see this dude like doing something stupid and getting suspended, perhaps to COVID related issues of some sort. So yeah, he's going off on Twitter, and people are like, "Dude, just shut the fuck up! Like, what are you doing right now? Like, the NBA just saved its own ass from losing billions by having like a season. And you're an NBA champion. Just hush up a little bit."
Yeah, and he's on the same team as Dwight Howard, who we know
can say some dumb stuff sometimes.
Yeah, he was on some anti-mask shit.
Mm-hmm.
His fucking Twitter profile right now, is that like a globe? Like what is that even?
Dwight Howard?
No, Kuzma.
Oh, Kuzma? Yeah, it looks like Pangea. He is although his latest tweet, he's giving away PS5s to people. So that's kind of nice, I guess.
His profile pic is Pangea, which really it's dope. It's fucking cool looking.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a red flag for me, just because it gives me like quote unquote do your own research vibes.
Yeah, is he giving you like flat Earth vibes type of a thing?
Yes, the flat Earth vibes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm reading some of his tweets. Is social media becoming a drug?
Yes.
Damn,
for sure. I'll agree with him on that. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll absolutely. I just watched. Side note, I just watched the Social Dilemma. I would highly recommend. Can we advertise? We can't. Can we just? We can't just do that on our podcast, can we?
I don't give a fuck. Like whatever. I saw that shit.
Yeah. Y'all check out the Social Dilemma. It's really good, and you'll and get ready your Facebook. So
yeah, if you're like under 30, like you're probably not gonna be blown away. But there's some people like our parents' generation who I think could really afford to watch a movie like that.
Really? You think it's aimed at them?
I don't think it's aimed at them, but I just think that like we're more aware of these things already, like our age and below. But like I think our parents' generation, like especially when you think about like Facebook and shit like that, they're really fucking going in on this.
They are,
and they might not realize like some of the stuff that's in that movie.
Yeah,
I think if you could get an older person to watch that movie, it's a dub.
That's a good idea. I only suggested it to like people my age and younger. And now I'm starting to realize, I think my parents, I mean, I don't even go on Facebook anymore. It's like a hellhole to scroll through that.
Yeah.
And
I deactivated my shit. I can't even.
Did you really? Yeah. No, you're right. But if I ever like tap into it just because somebody tagged me in something or it's somebody's birthday or some shit like that, I see like my dad posts a lot. He just goes ham on posts, and he posts like, I guess when you get older, you start reposting all of that, like, like spirituality type quotes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or like motivating type quotes. And
you might as well be talking about my dad. It's like it's fucking the same shit, dude. It's crazy.
Like memes that have minions on them and say something about like don't start with me on Monday mornings until I've had my coffee or some shit like that. And you're like, oh my god damn it. You corny old people.
Yeah. They're having a time on Facebook.
They are having a time.
They're having a time on that.
My parents are both boomers, so they they love Facebook, and they are not disseminating the information that comes at them through Facebook. So
yeah, check your fucking sources, y'all. Fact check your shit, man. Like I'm sure none of y'all are listening to this right now, but if you are, just check your sources, man.
Check your sources.
I don't know. Misinformation, like in basketball, it's fun sometimes, but in
trade rumors
life,
and stuff.
Yeah, but in real life, shit, we can't be doing that.
I almost got taken in. Speaking of that basketball stuff, like I don't know if I told you, but I almost got taken in by like there was one of those like random ass articles that somebody who looks like they're a legit basketball writer, and it's like the title of it like snagged me. It's like something about Harden to the Celtics, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what is happening here? And then you go through it and you read just a little bit, and it's like, this is a potential trade rumor that I kind of worked out in my head, and I put it out there for you. I'm like, oh, this is somebody made up a potential, like what it would look like if Harden were to get traded to the Celtics. This is stupid. I'm getting out of this. I don't want to read this. It wasn't news. It was just like somebody like, I have an opinion about a trade that may or may not go down, most likely won't. And I'm going to show you what that would look like. And I'm like, this is some garbage. Just straight up garbage.
Yeah, that's where we're at now with journalism and shit. Like I kind of feel bad for like actual journalists because of shit like what you just mentioned, where you got like someone who wrote a beautiful piece where they did fucking research and interviews and corroborated sources and all kind of shit, and then they're competing with like fucking just people just talking shit. Like
basically
some guy said something on a podcast, and then like it gets aggregated, and then it's like a clickbait article and with a salacious title, and that's where we're at. That being said, Anthony Davis just declined his player option, and hey, I'm saying he could go anywhere.
Now that is legit news, by the way, is what we're saying there. That's what you just said. I saw the same news. That is legit. There's nothing incorrect about what you just said.
It's true.
Check Alex's sources, but
what I'm about to say though,
there's
nothing stopping him from coming to the Miami Heat. This
is you are literally becoming the thing I was just railing on.
Yeah. And
why don't you write an article and that says what a trade or what it would take for the Heat to sign Anthony Davis?
I'm gonna buy a domain name tonight and post that article just to host that article. But no, that's the type of shit that goes down. Like we all know that he declined his option so he could renegotiate and stay with the Lakers.
Of course,
there's almost no doubt. It is fun and exciting to consider the possibility that maybe he would change his mind. And if I'm any team, I'll at least like shoot him a text and be like, "You up?" like what's up?
It's worth a text. Yeah, it's worth it to shoot your shot at Anthony Davis. Yeah,
but
for sure.
Anybody clicking an article about Anthony Davis coming to your team and you're not a Lakers fan, like stop playing, man. That shit's
Yeah, this is like the time of year, and when I say time of year, I mean trade deadline or right around the draft is where these people who want to just like write these clickbait articles are just feasting on whatever eyes they can get. So
it's true. It's like Anthony Davis to the Celtics, and then you click on the article, that shit's all like, "Hello." It's just like fucking straight Craig talking to you.
Now lying to you. Oh goodness.
But yeah, Anthony Davis declining his option. There was a lot of player option decisions and stuff going down, but AD, that was one that we could have marked on the calendar and predicted,
set your watch to that. Yeah, for sure. And you obviously, I'm guessing you saw the trade that's happening for Schroeder, right? That they're doing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. I mean, do you think that basically losing Danny Green? I mean, as bad as Danny Green was in the playoffs, do you think that losing him and adding Schroeder makes them better than they were last year?
I think it makes them a lot better. Dennis Schroeder is awesome. I've always liked him personally, but I'm a sucker for point guards. I just like point guards, and I like his game, and I like how he did the little Wiz Khalifa patch, a little blonde patch in his hair that
looks good.
And he's got game, and he was actually one of the league leaders in like points in the clutch, like like less than 5 minutes or whatever, less than 2 minutes within 5 points.
I remember a particular game, I believe it was this past season. I don't know if it was in the bubble or not, but half court heave or like almost a 3/4 court heave from the guy that from the guy that looks kind of like you on the Thunder.
Adams.
Yeah. I wanted you to say it actually, but yeah. Like heaved the ball down court and like got it to Schroeder like last second and threw in like a bank shot. I think they either tied the game or won the game. I couldn't remember, but it was major.
Like at the buzzer for making me say that too, to agree that.
Well, it's not a bad thing. People love Steven Adams.
Yeah, it's true. Smash
There's
Brothers.
there's nobody that looks like me in the NBA. Although, actually, no. Didn't we find somebody who like looks like somewhat like me? I can't even remember. Anyways,
No, there's not
probably
really a
not.
good one. There's not
There
really a
is.
good one, but for as far as our podcast is concerned, we are Jarrett Dudley and Alex Caruso. but,
I'm absolutely fine with that. Alex
but
Caruso.
we're still looking for better shit
Oh
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not really an apt comparison.
I've got a beard now, like a full beard, like a lumberjack beard. So I'm not, if you don't have that, then we're not talking. So
Yeah. Speaking of lumberjack beards,
yes,
there's a lumberjack beard that is fucking kind of going through some shit in the NBA right now. Like, if I'm Harden on the Rockets, I might be thinking about like, what the fuck is going down right now? Like, what is going on? We got Westbrook reportedly like we're requesting a trade. They got rid of their GM, which like dude is one of the best in the game and is a large reason why Harden has been so successful.
The Rockets appear to be wavering between, do we rebuild or do we kind of keep going with this as far as we can? Coach is gone, GM is gone. Westbrook, for the most part, just wants out, it looks like. Harden said he wants to stay, but at this point, like, what is he staying with is my question. Then you hear that he's when somebody throws out the idea of him going to Brooklyn, he's super down with that. Which that would make them very, very dangerous, just foreseeably. So I don't know. I mean, I think they're, like I said, I think they're considering going through a rebuild, or they maybe are just going to try to make a bunch of moves and still be contenders again, and just end up being like the 4th or 5th seed in the West. And then who knows, they'll just kind of, be lost to oblivion. I don't know. They're what I would call a hot mess right now. Yeah. I mean, the hottest of messes.
Yeah. They're quickly approaching hot mess territory. From what I've seen, everything I've seen is that they have been telling people that, at least with Harden, that like they're trying to run it back and like continue doing what they've been doing with Harden. But Westbrook requesting a trade, and then Daryl Morey being now with Philadelphia, and then you also have Silas as the coach, which is awesome. I think I agree. That's actually really cool. But it's a brand new coach, so you got a lot of the winds of change going on.
Yeah.
And, Harden's beard is like a little sail, and it could catch those winds, and fucking he may be dreaming of another destination that he could sail away to.
Yeah, I think how he's at that age now where I think he has to like consider like, where can I go immediately to try and get the ring? I mean, it didn't work here. He technically came even closer to getting a ring when he was with OKC. And so if that's what he's after, if that's what he really cares about, then I think if he kind of cut and run, it would be a good move for him.
Rumors were popping off this morning about the Nets.
I hear that one.
Yeah.
Put him with his old friend KD.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Have you heard the Steph Curry quote from the 2019 All-Star game where he's talking about Harden? Have you heard that?
No, I don't think so.
So a lot of people have been pointing back to this when talking about the fact that the Rockets are a hot mess. Steph Curry said that he was talking to James Harden, and was giving him props and shit. And, giving him props because he was putting up historic numbers. And he said that the first thing Harden said was that it was fun, but that he wants to play differently. Playing like hero ball style of basketball. He doesn't really want to play like that. He wants to play in a system where he can play like beautiful basketball, quote unquote, paraphrase.
Interesting.
And that was
I never
like,
heard this quote.
yeah. So, it's like Steph Curry and James Harden chatting it up at the All-Star game, and Steph Curry being like, yo, props, like, showing respects. And Harden being like, yeah, I'm awesome, but I really would rather be doing what you're doing, like playing with ball movement and shit.
Unselfish, fundamental stuff like that. I mean, that is what the Warriors embrace. Basically, that's how Steve Kerr coached. That's how Popovich kept the Spurs relevant for the longest time. Unselfish basketball, guys who aren't worried about their egos. That's. I mean, I don't. I mean, he's when he says he'd rather do that. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but would he actually make the sacrifice? Like at some point, if that's what he wants to do, he would need to take a back seat. Somebody else needs to bring the ball up the court. He needs to move without the basketball. He needs to play slightly better defense, I would think. So, I mean, it's all talk until I actually see him do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying that quote's from 2019, but what has he done since then?
I know. So that's super interesting to me because I hear that a lot from people when it's like the question of like the possibility of James Harden being available is presented, and it's like to your team, insert team here. And like almost every single fan base, there's a whole group of people with like qualms and shit, and they're just like, nah, like that they just don't want him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of crazy to me. Because I think that he, like, the style of play that he was playing with in Houston so far is part of the reason why people have these opinions. And I think that it's one thing to play a style that is like ugly and not fun, like I don't really like watching that shit personally because it's like
the way the Rockets play.
Yeah. Like it's not really my jam.
No.
So I can see why people feel that way. But at the same time, if it was that easy for all you got to do is play that way, then how come everybody else
isn't doing it? Yeah.
You have to be as good as James Harden for that to be a viable option. So that, I think back to when the Thunder played the Heat in the finals, which was LeBron's first championship in, I think it was like 2012. And James Harden came off the bench. He was the sixth man. He had a bad finals, but he was a big part of that team. And he was just a rookie. The skills that he showed playing as the sixth man on that team, it's not like he don't have that no more. Like, I think it could actually be the best thing he ever did to go to a team like the Nets where he could be not the number one focal point of the offense and the whole show, but he's just a guy on the team because he's, at the end of the day, he's James Harden. So if James Harden might not be the best player on your team, then your team's probably pretty good.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I said it. He came closer to getting a ring when he was not the focal point of the offense. To be fair, when you're playing behind Durant and Westbrook, it's easy to make a claim like that, right? Like, he's playing behind two other, top 10, 15 players in the league currently, right? Yeah, but it's still, I mean, you could either chalk it up to the coach didn't know what they had in Harden back then, or maybe they did know what they had and they said, "Look, I appreciate your talent. I know you're a great player, but you have to come off the bench. You are." It's maybe that the coach, who was it? It was Scott Brooks at the time.
Oh no, yeah, it was Scott
Scott
Brooks.
Brooks. Yeah,
Brooks.
Scott Brooks. And so maybe Scott Brooks knew something we didn't, right? Like maybe that's the role Harden's meant to play. I mean, he goes to the Rockets, he gets a big ego, he starts scoring more points, taking more, doing more flops, and just he perfects his
MVP.
Perfects his game really well. But to say that the Rockets have been underwhelming since he's been there, that's an understatement. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that season when he was the sixth man in OKC, and he was drawing comparisons to Ginobili, like, because it's like similar role, same position, crafty guard,
left-handed.
Yes, putting up buckets easily. And when you think about it in hindsight, like, that's nuts for a rookie, like Tyler Hero, just random example. He shined in the playoffs, but like in the regular season, he came off the bench, and it was a fucking growing process. It's a development. You're watching a guy like grow. He nobody was saying he's fucking managed Ginobili. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Yeah.
So in hindsight, I guess, that shows the foresight of like Daryl Morey at the time in the Rockets for making that trade to get him, because they realized that, but I don't think a lot of people thought that at the time.
No. I think no, I mean, I'm not going to insult Daryl Morey. I mean, he's got a good eye for basketball no matter what. He makes some questionable decisions, to be very honest. I think I think getting Westbrook in the first place was probably not a good idea, but that's a hindsight thing, obviously. I mean, it's
some people say that wasn't his call, that was Tillman Fertitta, which is something I was going to bring up.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of tea, a little fucking bochinche here, a little gossip, but Tillman Fertitta, the new owner of the Rockets, some people say, not to unintentionally quote our president.
You did just do a Trump thing there, yeah.
People are saying that Westbrook trade for the Rockets was actually the owner's call.
That's interesting.
Once that little grain was dropped, like I started to think that might have been the beginning of Daryl Morey being like, all right, well, I gotta get the fuck up out of this bitch.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Yeah,
actually, I'm not hot of a take. That's pretty much like I would say you might be dead on with that.
But when we were talking earlier about the Rockets being a hot mess, I was thinking about Tillman Fertitta. Like, I live in Texas, and there's like a restaurant right here, like a block away from my house, that on the receipt it says like Tillman Fertitta, like owner or whatever. His name is on that shit. And because of the current pandemic, his business interests are not doing too well.
Okay.
So
so I think you have like an inside track here, is what you're saying.
I don't have an inside track. I might have eaten a steak or two, but but I think that he has an incentive to cut cash, like he's not trying to spend money, he's a rookie NBA owner, not a rookie, but as far as the owners are concerned, he might as well be like, it's only like year 2 or 3 or something like that. I don't know.
Well, wait. So you think you think he traded for Westbrook to cut cash?
No. I don't think he traded for Westbrook to cut cash, but I just think that was just him being the owner of the team, and it was just a bad decision. I'm not relating those two things.
Okay.
That I'm just saying that
sounds like
I heard that was a thing. But I don't think that was a cash decision. I just think that was him being the new owner and like fucking whipping it out, I guess.
Yeah. It's in a vacuum, if you didn't know, if you weren't into like the deep specifics of the NBA and basketball, you would say, if I'm pairing Westbrook with Harden, I'm doing the smart thing, right?
Yeah. If I'm a boomer, I think I'm winning the ring.
Like Facebook was blowing up as soon as Westbrook got added to the Rockets. But but I mean, if you weren't, I mean, when it happened, like, I'm not saying you and I are NBA experts. I mean, I don't know if that's underselling us, but when that trade happened and he got there, I mean, I don't think you and I were both thinking, wow, just hand the championship to the Rockets right now, right? Like that didn't happen. It's a wait and see thing with people like us who have been watching the NBA for a long time. And
even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, you kind of knew that they would still be probably like a one piece away type of deal. It's not like AD and LeBron, those two positionally match up. They complement each other in a way where you require less around them. But Westbrook and Harden, that's just a backcourt, when it comes down to X's and O's.
Yeah, and D'Antoni kind of leaned into it, right? He's like, well, you're giving me two. I mean, I have Harden and I have Westbrook now. I have two really, really great guys, and this is my backcourt now. Let's lean into this. Let's do the small ball thing. They trade away Capella to Atlanta, and they just go all in. They lean into the small ball thing. 5th in the West, knocked out in the second round. So it's and honestly, that's better than I thought they would have done after they made the trade for Westbrook, to be honest. I don't know if, I mean, there's a fine line between taking a chance and looking smart and just, I made a dumb decision that I shouldn't have made in the first place type of a thing. So I think it may be more of the latter, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think both parties are feeling a little bit of that, because if
buyer's remorse.
Yeah, if the reports are true on Westbrook that he wants to go to a team where he can resume his role like in OKC, then that means that he fucked up, man. Like he should have stayed. He should have stayed, and it kind of sucks for him. If I put myself in his shoes, like I think about, he went to Houston thinking like him and Harden, we're going to do this. Chris Paul and Harden took possibly one of the greatest teams of all time, to 7 games, and if they were like a hamstring away from a potential championship.
They were one cold shooting game away from actually beating the Warriors. If you're referring to that particular series, yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm saying, I'm of the opinion that if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, they would have beat them. They would have beat them, I think, personally. But Chris Paul gets hurt. He's not able to play in those last 2 games, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they don't do it, So if I'm Westbrook, I'm thinking like, all right, you know what the difference is? Me. I'm fucking Russell Westbrook. I'm like Oscar Robertson. So like the fact that they didn't do that well, not only did they underperform, but they didn't even do like that well as that team with Chris Paul. And then on top of that, Chris Paul goes to the Thunder, and everything is just awesome.
Yeah.
It was just awesome over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Paul is a winner. I mean, like him or hate him, he knows how to win games. He knows how to get a team, on board. we've always said it. He's kind of a prick on the court, but I mean, he gets a team behind him. It's that simple. And I think signing Westbrook, not to keep belaboring the issue, but it seemed like a business decision for the Rockets to just sign Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, it might have been like a quick Band-Aid for the wound of Chris Paul being like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's a little telling in itself. The fact that he just didn't want to be there. I wonder if there is more drama within the Rockets organization that we just don't know about.
Yeah, because now that I think of it, I don't know if it was I don't want to be here or if it was just Harden and him not getting along and Harden being like, get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Pulling the LeBron card, basically.
Yeah, it could have been that they just didn't get along. And so the solution to that was to get rid of Chris Paul. I mean, clearly, because James Harden is like the
once in a lifetime talent. Yeah, you almost have to keep him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is too, but he's on the other end of his prime.
But however, I mean, interesting thing, like Chris Paul has a lot of suitors right now in free agency. There are a lot of teams that would take Chris Paul right now.
Yeah, rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a free agent. He's just sitting on the he's
trade
on a fat ass deal in OKC.
Yeah.
But he's like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
They're a developing team and he's a fucking aging Hall of Famer.
They officially now have, I think, 16 first round picks between now and I think 2026, I believe. So they are obviously in rebuilding mode. And if there's any team that's good at building itself, it's the Thunder.
Sam Presti,
he's amazing.
He has them in position similar to the Pelicans, man. Both of those teams have a fucking war chest of draft picks and young talent that those teams have two of the brightest futures. If those two teams aren't contending teams in the foreseeable future, like that's a fucking
3 years. Yeah. They I mean, it's great when you see that from small market teams too, that are actually going out and trying to win, because sometimes you just never know. But the point I was saying,
yeah, that's true.
The point I was saying is that Chris Paul can go to a team right now and people will say, oh, that team just improved, even though he's on, his career, like you said, is on, he's an aging Hall of Famer, basically. If Harden goes to a team right now, you mentioned it earlier, there's a large portion of every team's fan base that's going to say, I kind of don't want him. And to your point, that's an unbelievable reaction to be having to a guy who is a former MVP, who can score bunches of points quick, super talented offensively, but large swaths of fans in the know don't want him on their team. I mean, I've seen it on Celtics Twitter. I mean, this rumor gets passed around that will the Celtics go after him? Who would they have to give up? Obviously, they'd probably have to give up Smart, one of the Jays, possibly Gordon. And most of the fans that understand basketball are like, I don't want to give up hardly any of those guys. Like maybe Hayward. Hayward I could see. I think the trade that was floating around was, I want to say Smart and Kemba straight up or something for like Harden or something like that. I couldn't even remember. Or no, for Westbrook, excuse me. So that actually doesn't lend to my point. But anyway, the rumor about Harden going to the Celtics, a lot of the fan base was like, nah, I think we're good. I like the future we have with the two Jays. Smart has an amazing contract for someone that puts forth the effort he does on the court night in and night out. I mean, it's not it's weird how his stock is. It's high, but it's also low at the same time. It's a weird thing, but
yeah, I think that's something that once this is all said and done, whether he goes to another team or not, I guess he would have to go to another team. But I think people in hindsight will realize that that's ridiculous because he's really fucking good.
Yeah,
He's really good.
Yeah.
And what I think people aren't understanding is that all the reasons why they don't want him, it's because he's like the focal point of the offense. Uh if if he didn't have to be the focal point of the offense and he's just a complimentary player on
Yeah.
the team contributing,
Yes.
I don't think people understand how effective that could be.
Well, I mean, NBA fans have short memories, right? You and I remember when he was on the Thunder. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten that already. So I think with because short memories, people don't realize that like that was an effective, amazing team that went to the finals and basically just ran into a LeBron that was basically in his prime and was way too good. And so, yeah, I mean that's all that is really. If you want my opinion.
Yeah, I think people are imagining James Harden on the Rockets on their team. And
Mhm.
it's like that is a total disrespect to like their whole team and shit
Mhm.
cuz there's going to be a different coach, there's a different system,
Yeah.
there's different players and we just don't know what that looks like.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, they might be right. Do you see? I mean, does it seem reasonable from your point of view? Do you think Harden would actually do that? Do you think he would take a back seat to other players on a team and to just fit within a system instead of being the ball dominant guard?
I I do. I do.
Do you? Okay.
I, I think that he not only do I think he would, I think he wants to. I think he wants to at this point. And I think about just traditionally in the NBA, that's kind of like how it goes. Like when you think about Michael Jordan, like if we just took him as a rando example, it took him a long time of just going at it alone to fucking realize that he needed to trust his teammates and he needed like solid fucking teammates. And
Mhm.
not to say that that's all on him. The whole organization had to make that possible.
Sure.
But he didn't do anything relevant really like as far as being Michael Jordan that we know today until he got Scottie Pippen and like
Horace Grant, B.J.
him and
Armstrong.
Scotty, and then
Yeah.
yeah, insert player here, Rodman, Horace
Yeah.
Grant, all them guys. Uh Harden is like pretty much at that point in his career. He's already had an MVP. He's gotten so close to a ring. He's been to the finals and he almost was there again recently in the
Mhm.
series we were talking about. But at this point he realizes that he can't do it by just being the James Harden team, and not only that, but he's already accomplished so much
Sure.
individually. So the only things left for him are
Is
the
a ring.
types, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a goal that you're gonna have to make that sacrifice for. And if he really wants it, I could easily see him doing it.
It's been the James Harden episode here.
Yeah, it's been the Houston Rockets episode.
I think he
Uh
needs to wash a few windows and look at himself in the mirror and just like
the season is starting soon as fuck. It's starting on December
end
22nd. It's
end of
starting
December.
next month.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get a lot done here really fast.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. There's a free agency and a draft, and they're even talking about having one or two or three preseason games just to get people warmed up.
Yeah. The teams have a choice of like how many they want to play.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, there's gonna be a play-in tournament, and there's gonna be no All-Star game, and it's a 72 game season.
I'll be honest, I can live without an All Star game. I hate to sidetrack or just kind of throw that random hot take out there. I can kind of live without it, to be honest. If as long as it means a season happens in general. So
Yeah, I can take that
mm.
for sure. And I like that they leaned into the play-in tournament. I know that it's pretty much
Oh,
all
I
about money, and I know it's a way to just continue to possibly make up for some of this lost revenue, but it's kind of fucking cool. It was pretty fun when the Suns and the Blazers played
Yes.
and all that. And the
It's a very obvious money grab. However, I don't care. It
yeah,
is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. I love
yeah,
it. Yeah. I totally forgot I was going to bring that up. That was going to be like a major thing I wanted to talk about. But yeah, that's huge. And it's basically a formality at this point as to whether or not that's going to happen. It's for sure going to happen. It has to get approved by like the board and stuff, but it's going to
yeah,
happen. We're going to have a
yeah,
plane.
yeah. I think it's happening, and the coolest part about that is like they just did it, and now it seems like they automatically are just like, "Yep, we're doing it again." So we could be looking at that being just a normal thing for the future of the NBA, and that's pretty cool.
Apparently, the way it works is the number 7 and number 8 seeds need to win once to stay in the playoffs, and the number 9 and 10 seeds need to win twice to move up into the field. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that makes me think about one of my favorite Heat teams, the 41 and 41 Heat team
Right?
that
Yeah.
they went 11 and 30 and then went 30 and 11
30 and
and
11. Yeah.
missed the playoffs because of a tiebreaker with the Chicago Bulls.
It's
And
it's heartbreaking but fun at the same time.
exactly. It made those last games thrilling. I remember watching the Bulls final game, and it was like all relevant and shit. Shit
Mhm.
was on the line. That was cool, but it would have been really cool to see them get a chance to play in. Uh, and
Yes.
I'm happy that that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. I mean, it's like you said, it's probably a money grab, but it's awesome. I think it's great. I love the watching the Suns, the Grizzlies, and the Blazers play for that last spot, basically, this last season. So I'm all for it. I mean, if we keep doing it, that's absolutely fine. It's similar to what baseball does. I mean, that's one of the things baseball does right. To be honest, is they have those they just recently started doing that, I believe, in the past few years, where they these wild cards teams, that are on the brink, they kind of play one or two games to get in, and then if they get in, and those games are always exciting. So
Yeah. Yeah, it would be cool to see how they schedule the season too, because there's talk of series and things like how baseball does, just to minimize
yes.
travel. And I think that would be fucking cool too, uh, in a baseball way.
Well, it would just feel like the playoffs, like anytime you're playing a team. I mean, well, how would that work with like the West, like West playing the East? Because you're not going to have. I mean, you only like the Celtics go out and play the Lakers once, and the Lakers come
Yeah,
out and play the Celtics once.
you
So
would play multiple teams, so that you would really like make use of the road trip. So like you go to Florida and play the Magic and the Heat, and like maybe then you go play the
Atlanta,
Hawks. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Shit like
okay,
that. Or you go to New York, play the Knicks and the Nets,
Nets,
and
yeah,
you have all kind of teams you could go to from there.
yeah, maybe Philly. That's cool. No, I'm
Yeah,
down. Yeah,
yeah, it'd be interesting. And one thing I haven't really heard anyone talk about, but if they did do that, it would suddenly give you, it would enhance the like divisional and like conference games, because you're playing all the games in a row. It's a fucking series, and this shit matters now, because if you're going to get tied in the playoffs or something in the standings, it's going to come down to your record against each other, like if it's in the
yep.
same conference or division.
Mhm.
And especially in the NBA, the divisions don't really matter that much as far as fandom goes, and
But
that
you
could,
want them to, kind of, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
could make it matter, uh, and the conference games and stuff too.
Like imagine the Heat and the Hornets like fighting for like, you know, fighting for seeding in the playoffs, or just for as an example, right? Like, and it comes down
Yeah,
to like, well, they played 4 games in a row back in January or something, and the Heat took 3 out of 4, so the Heat win the tiebreaker, and that's that. So I was like, damn, that could be awesome.
Yeah, and it's like all that stuff currently does matter, like when it comes down to tiebreakers and things, but you don't like see it like that, you know? Like you don't play them all in a row like a series, even though you think of it that way. Like every time there's like a playoff matchup, they're like, yeah, well, you know, the Celtics were 3-2 versus the Heat
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'll be fun to actually have it be that way. And then we got free agency starting on Friday, November 20th at
Mhm.
6 p.m.
5 days away.
That's a big day, man. That's a big day. A lot
Free
of
agency.
shit. Yeah, this free agency isn't as big as others we've seen, but that's always such an exciting time in the
It is.
season.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how they just had it kind of scrambled together. And it's like, all right, now.
Yeah.
And
The most exciting one I can remember is the one where everybody was trying to sign Kevin Durant. And when free agency opened, they were just like trade, 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 trade. It was just like, it was, or signing, signing, signing. And just like, it was absolutely just nuts.
yeah, capsize.
Yeah. Woj basically has like a permanent like vein sticking out of his forehead that whole day.
Yeah, for real. He just it's like fucking Neo going into the Matrix. He's just attached to all these machines and shit.
I
He
know
just
kung
says
fu.
goodbye to his family. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be big time, and we'll be here to make jokes about it.
This is all a very exciting time we're in right now. The NBA season just ended and we have a new one starting relatively pretty quick. So yeah, they're shoving basketball down your throat as much as you can handle,
It's gonna be lit.
like a foie gras goose.
Oh man. Chris Paul to the Suns.
I am all for that. Suns fans, from what I've seen on Twitter, because I started following Suns fans, are kind of like, do we want to spend that kind of money on a guy like that right now? And I
Yeah,
kind of see their point.
I see that point, but it would be really good for Devin Booker, I think, and just getting some winning time in and changing the culture of the team, not to be
Here we
Mr.
go
Heat
with
guy.
here we go with culture again. Yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I'd like to see Booker like make the playoffs and have a nice little run in the playoffs and just get time doing that because yeah, the more time he spends outside of the playoffs, the more inexperienced he's going to be if he ever actually does make it. So, man, yeah, I don't know, but that contract he's got though, like that's major.
I know,
I mean, you obviously would start him, I guess, but like, man, it's a lot of money to throw away on a team that has a lot of promise.
I know. When the Heat got Jimmy Butler via trade from Philly this
Mm,
past offseason, that started all kinds of rumors of like that, you know, they're gonna what else are they gonna do? And there was like Chris Paul talk and Westbrook talk. And I remember thinking with both dudes that like fuck yeah, like it'd be awesome to have either one of those guys. But
right.
those contracts are so ginormous
Yes.
that you're crippling your ability to like build a team when you
Right.
take on one of those deals.
Right. Because those guys are eventually you're gonna pay them, they retire, and hopefully you've won a championship before they retire. But if you haven't, you've just spent money on them for nothing. But I guess if you feel it's worth taking a chance, then you do it, right? And I agree with you on the mentor part. Like put Chris Paul on a team, have him mentor someone like Devin Booker, have him get prepared for, for life in the NBA, basically. So that makes sense. So are you comparing Chris Paul going to Phoenix to Jimmy Butler going to Miami?
No, I'm just saying that like when you take on a dude with a contract like that, I could understand why like the fans wouldn't necessarily want to do that, even when
Sure.
it's someone as good as Chris Paul or
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook. because you kind of know what's going to happen after that. You're going to be really like, you're not going to have as many options when it comes to improving your team outside of those couple of guys.
And it's a weird thing for Chris Paul to do. I mean, the guy still doesn't have a ring, so he's going to go to a team that almost made it into the playoffs last year. And I mean, if we're looking for are the Suns looking for a very quick turnaround by signing Chris Paul?
Yeah, you would. If you're Chris Paul, you would need reassurance that like this time they're for real and like that the Suns want to compete, because
unless he's cool with being this old man that just goes to random teams and it brings them into the playoffs and then skedaddles. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he wants
to be.
To do.
The Larry Brown of players.
Yeah, for real. That's a good. I mean, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
If I'm, for Chris Paul, I need reassurance that they're like trying to win. For the Suns, I'm banking on this past season, when Chris Paul, to go back to the Heat rumors, that was because Chris Paul was suddenly traded to the Thunder, and people weren't really believing that he would want to be on the Thunder for a full season.
Right.
But then he stayed and they made the playoffs, and it was actually awesome. Everything about it was good. And he actually probably raised his value by doing that. So if I'm the Suns, I'm banking on that. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, with that,
allow me to leave you with.
Are you all